Hi, my name is Tilodaris, and I thought I would record an exploration of a data set using Databot. So, if you're not aware of what Databot is, it is a POSIT product which uses an LLM. In this case, it's Claude in the background to help you explore data. I've played with it a little bit, and I like it in general, and we'll kind of get started. But the first thing I want to do is I want to load in this data set called NHANES. So NHANES is essentially a national survey measuring certain health outcomes within a cohort of people. So I want to load this data in. So let's first take a look. Let's load in the NHANES package. And you can see we have there's a date, the data frame is called NHANES here. Come on. So let's try a view. Okay, so this is the POSIT data viewer. So there's a lot of things in here. I also encourage you to take a look at the help documentation. I really like this data explorer in POSIT. There's a lot of questions I have, and I want to kind of understand what the span of the survey data is. So we've got a variable here called survey year, and we can see that if we mouse over it, there's two different years in this survey. So there's 5,000 from 2009, and then 5,000 from 2011. So what we have here is survey data, and we can take a look at, for example, the race categories. So we can take a look. Majority of the population is white, and then the next largest population is black, and then Latino or Mexican. So this is all very helpful. So this will help guide me into figuring out exactly what kinds of questions I want to answer. I've worked with this data set before, so you can see there are some various BMI categories here, so we could ask questions about health. There are some measurements, so like for example, the systolic blood pressure and things like that. So I'm going to launch Databot. So I believe that it can be launched by Control-Shift-P. So this opens the command pane for POSIT. So now I'm going to open Databot. So first thing I might want to ask questions about is missing data. So for the NHANES data set, what are variables with missing values? And we can run that. Oh, I just have to make sure to select. So I'm going to use Claude Sonnet here. Okay, so Databot gives you these kinds of questions, but I'm going to ask about missing values here. So the thing about Databot is that it does not execute code unless you give it permission, which I really like. It's going to basically take a look, generate some code based on the data frame, and then here it's going to actually tabulate the number of missing values for each column. So you'll see that you have to allow the Databot to execute this tool. So this code hasn't been run yet. So let's try it out. Oops, I did not want to make it give it allow always. We'll have to fix that. So there's a number of variables that that we see that there are quite a few missing values. So remember, there are 10,000 rows in this data set, and there's quite a few missing values. Some of these, so what is the age in which you had diabetes? And then, TV hours per day as a child. So this gives me an idea of what variables I probably don't want to kind of utilize in a model. So this is a good first pass. So let's ask Databot. So let's ask a question about depression. Show me the distribution categories by depression. Okay, so here it basically it went and executed code, and it produced a histogram of the different distribution levels. So we can see that about 10% have some sort of several depression episodes, and then there's kind of the smaller category of that have the most depressive episodes. But about half of our that's one thing, is that it doesn't quite show, like we have about 5,000 here that have none. And then I think the majority of these are missing. So I want to understand that. So let's ask Databot, what percent values are missing in the depressed variable? Okay, so we know Databot basically told us that there are 3,000 and about 3,000 cases that are missing values. So if we basically try to make any sort of observation based on this, we may be missing data. So there is such a thing as duplicate data. So let's ask Databot. So we may want to actually produce some sort of model that predicts depressed status given some of the variables. Another thing I want to go in, and I know that this is a pattern. So are there any duplicated rows? So we've got a number of duplicate rows in the data set. So you can see that the same participant appears multiple times with identical data across all 76 variables. These appear to be complete duplicates, not just duplicate IDs with multiple measurements. So there is something going on here. So that's something to keep in mind. So just wanted to kind of do a preliminary exploration of this data and kind of show you what you can do with Databot. One thing that I do want to do is I want to actually keep track of this code by myself. So what I'm going to do is I am going to actually copy these code chunks into my own document so I can make my own notes about this. So let's copy this. And let's basically add this to our document. So I'm going to write some notes. Assessing missing values in variables. So, and then I'm going to continue to do that. So this is a very good start to kind of understanding NHANES. And if there's interest in this video, I will continue this exploration.